What do you think of the Necromancer and the Runesmith?
Well, so I mean, as I mentioned, my biggest gripe will always be the way prepared casting is handled. It's so weird for so little, like, amount of being able to cast. Because you've got, like, 2 first, 2 second, 2 third, 2 fourth, 2 fifth, 2 sixth, since Bastille's a level 12 character. But, as far as the actual abilities go, those are great. Like, I like being able to become beefy marshal via my ability to turn my spirit thralls into health bars.
Ew.
And then using the scythe that I've made from a thrall previously as a weapon to slash into people. The scythe's great. Yeah. I do know one of the big things that I notice is, like, obviously hasn't come up for Bastille yet, but at later levels, there's not a way to get mastery with the weapons. And with there not being a way to get mastery, that means there is one specific feat that I basically have to take, but I can't take until 18th level to be able to have a high enough bonus to potentially compete with, like, other people that are on the front line, since the highest I'll ever get with my actual, like, scythe is expert, which I feel like perhaps, like, if you're taking the, because it's an optional feat as it is to take osteo armaments and Reaper's weapon familiarity, which allows you to have familiarity with additional weapons, and then osteo armaments allowing you to create the scythe, or a different weapon. It doesn't have to be a scythe, but who's not going to go with a scythe if they're a necromancer? I feel like between those, there should be some way to get mastery in using those weapons. Because otherwise, as it stands, the only other way I can start competing won't be until I reach level 18, as far as being on the exact same field for that. And that's a while away. The specific feat I'm referring to, and that also just basically makes that, if you're going to be like a martial type of necromancer, makes that feat a requirement to get rather than just a fun option, which is called Bind Heroic Spirit. You temporarily bind the spirit of dead hero into you, gaining some of their talents. You learn the Bind Heroic Spirit Grave spell, which gives you a +3 status bonus to attack rolls and saving throws. And whenever you successfully hit a creature with a strike, you can create a thrall in a space adjacent to your target that lasts for 1 minute. That's great, don't get me wrong, but that's your only way of being able to potentially compete with marshals in that way of getting a high enough bonus. Sorry, that was a big word jumble.
So, Shadow, what do you think of the Runesmith?
I like the Runesmith. The only problem I have with the Runesmith for right now is if you want to play focus more on, like, tracing the runes into enemies from far away, the action economy is similar to that of, like, a ranger. So that is, I don't know if that's like that's what they're intending to go for or what, because it seems like that style is a little hit or miss, because it seems like they want you to be more of a, like, upfront guy, or you can go on range and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a, essentially what I'm asking for is more direction, more feats that can help out with the action economy.
Right. So, sounds like you both have mixed thoughts on classes. What would you change? If I were to homebrew something to change up these classes, right now, what would you ask for?
I would say the optional feature of Reaper weapons familiarity should at some level give you mastery in those weapon arts. Like, I understand why it can't just be given as a free mastery, but Reapers already get some weapon proficiencies as it is. They get up to expert with the weapons they're already proficient with, so it doesn't seem like it should be too big of a deal if Reaper weapons familiarity extended to like having a later level gain like some class optional class features do, and or another feature potentially doing that and having one other thing, because it doesn't feel like getting a weapon, getting your proficiency to mastery should be a whole class feat on its own, so it should have something else that comes with it if that you're going to make that a separate feat, I would feel like. Beyond that, I don't think it's hard to say for other specific things. It'd be nice to be able to attack with more than one thralls. So the only other thing I can think of is like if you were to dedicate more, like let's say you use your ability to create thralls, which it scales up how many it can create at higher levels. So like I can create up to 4. I can create 1 to base, 2 with being an expert in necromancy, 3 for when I'm a master, and 4 if I'm a legendary, but it's always only 1 can make an attack. I feel like if you dedicate more actions, perhaps maybe making it kind of act like the magic missile equivalent I'm forgetting the name of at this moment, that like every action dedicated adds a number of bolts, not just a single bolt, and to where like if you have more thrall out already, like let's say you've used create thrall twice, and so you've got like 8 thralls out on the field already, and then you spend your next turn dedicating 3 actions to the create thrall ability, then you can potentially have not just 1 attack, but add an additional of whatever your mastery is at. So like for this, it'd be 4 for each action dedicated beyond the 1. So instead of just 1 attacking, you could have up to 9 thralls attack. It'd be all of your actions to do that, but right now the ability to utilize multiple thralls is extremely limited in what you can do. So you're almost always going to be just blasting them and only ever casting the ability to then explode them for other things. And I feel like that makes the at least subset of Necromancer that's like, I want an army of minions, not as useful when that army of minions can't all attack. Or at least a majority of them can't attack.
All right, and Shadow, what would you ask for me to change if I were to homebrew something on the Runesmith? What would you ask me to change?
Well, essentially, a nice change that I think the Runesmith would have is that the essentially there's a main thing about the Runesmith and with their runes and stuff like that is that you can combine and put all like a bunch of like runes of the same thing. So like you can invoke a rune, and then that rune, I believe it invokes all of them at the same time or just one. I have to reread the rules again. But essentially, one of the things I would like is if the runes of the Runesmith, if like there's like some cool way to like mix and match them, because it seems like there's no cool way other than just because the only mix and match things you can do is like, oh, this rune has a larger explosive radius now. Oh, that's cool. Can I? What I want is, can I like mix and match some of the runes? Like, there's a rune that like lets you fly towards an enemy that hits you. What if I combine that rune with the rune I troll the fire one, so that way if they hit me and I fly towards them, and they also get hit by an explosive. Because it seems like mixing and matching with different runes aren't really prioritized unless it's specifically designed for that. I think that it stifles the creativity that you can do with RuneSmith, because with RuneSmith you can be extremely creative with the runes that they've given you. Because there's a rune where you put it on your shield and it creates like a giant illusion wall, and that's sick. That's awesome. And imagine if you can combine it with like something like the gravity rune, where someone hits your shield and you hit the gravity rune, and then all the people gets pushed towards your invisible like illusion shield wall thing, and they would actually think like they hit a wall or something like that.
All right. So it sounds like you both have some nice things to say about these classes and some not so nice things. Some criticisms about these classes. I definitely put those in the survey for the playtest. This is pretty much the last day that you can do that. I think it ends on the 31st. If you have anything else that you would like me to think about homebrewing for these classes while we wait for the full release, please put them in the Discord. And for everyone at home, please join our Discord. We would love to meet you.
Yeah.